An Indigenous man and his granddaughter, who were arrested and handcuffed by Vancouver police after a bank accused them of fraud, have now reached a settlement of their human rights complaint against the Bank of Montreal. Maxwell Johnson, an artist from the Heiltsuk Nation, was simply trying to add his granddaughter's account to his own. Bank employees not only refused, they called 911. Now, after 2.5 years, Johnson is reflecting on what he calls a long, hard journey.
Part of our culture is to forgive. We don't hold on to anything.
Maxwell Johnson never wanted to be the center of this story, yet today he came back to the same spot on a Vancouver street in front of a BMO bank, which wrongly accused him and his granddaughter of fraud. His human rights complaint against the bank finally settled.
I'm just glad to be able to stand up for myself and for my kids and grandkids and other people that are afraid to come forward to stand their ground.
It was here 2.5 years ago that he and his then 12-year-old granddaughter were arrested and handcuffed. All he'd tried to do was open a bank account using their Indigenous status cards as ID. The bank refused, suspected fraud, and called the police. There was no evidence of fraud, no charges were laid, and the bank has since apologized. In April, an independent review found the two officers acted without reasonable and probable grounds. They were suspended for several days.
It took a lot of trust away from my granddaughter, my son, and myself. It's been really hard. I suffer from a mental illness called panic disorder, and I had to overcome the fear of talking in public again.
Johnson lives here in the Great Bear Rainforest on BC's Central Coast. A member of the Heiltsuk First Nation, he's an artist and a cultural leader in his community. His work adorns the front of the big house. His financial settlement with BMO hasn't been disclosed, but for Johnson, this is about so much more than money.
Our people have been on the coast for over 14,000 years. That's longer than the pyramids have been up. So I just want people to educate themselves more about First Nations issues and our culture.
In the spirit of forgiveness, he's created this piece of art and gifted it to the bank.
On the bottom, it's got the BMO logo on there. It just shows that we're working together to get past this and be on good terms. It's good medicine.
The officers who made the arrests have been invited to an apology ceremony in Bella Bella. They have yet to accept. Johnson did one more thing today. He closed his bank account with BMO.
Well, if you went through something I did, you'd want to change banks too.
It is the end of a chapter, he says, but not of the healing. Late today, BMO put out a statement saying it's pleased a settlement has been reached and that it's an important step in reconciliation.